Shifting our focus over to the livestock markets now. Earlier this week, we had the chance to travel out to Seward, Nebraska to catch up with Mike Briggs at Briggs Feedyard. We've seen some interesting things in the cattle market recently, including a wide spread between prices in the north and the south. We began the conversation with Mike by getting his general thoughts on the cattle complex.
Let's get your general take of these markets right now. What are you seeing for the cattle industry?
Cattle industry, if you've got fat cattle to sell, you're pretty happy right now. You're making a little money. We have tremendous basis. We're way over the board on our cash price compared to our friends to the south, and I don't really have any sympathy for them. I feel like we're finally getting paid for the quality of cattle that we produce here, especially if you have all black cattle. We're getting tremendous prices for those. It's really interesting to see what's going on because typically this time of year, fat cattle prices aren't so good, especially coming up after the 4th of July. So I'm really interested to see if after the 4th of July we don't tail off. We'll see. I think cattle supplies as we go forward continue to get tighter, slowly, but that's gonna put a base under our prices. I don't think we can just get blasted like we typically do most summers.
We'll talk about cattle supply here in a moment when I ask you about cattle on feed, but going back to what you hinted at there, the spread between the north and the south, $10, I think we saw a difference there. Talk why that's happening. You mentioned quality.
Quality, I think quality is the biggest thing because they're chasing choice right now. Because of the $8 corn situation, days on feed are dropping. So if you drop days on feed, you're going to drop your grade, and the packers are chasing grade. Well, northern cattle are going to grade better than southern cattle. We aren't really putting any more days on them than that. Well, maybe a few more days because our corn is significantly cheaper than theirs because Texas is feeding $9 corn. We're feeding $8 corn or $8.50 corn. So our corn's a little less expensive, so we're going to continue to put a few more days on, but we've got a better quality cattle, so we're finally getting paid for our quality, where down south maybe not so much.
Think that's a trend that might stick around for a while?
Yes, provided that you don't see choice start to fall off. Now, at some point, I'm afraid I fear with inflation and fuel costs, people don't want to stop eating meat, but maybe they're going to have to keep ratcheting down their quality and their type because it's what they can afford because gas is so incredibly expensive. This gas price has been more detrimental to the American consumer than anything else I can come up with.
Well, let's get your thoughts on the cattle on feed report. I saw that come out last week as you and I had this conversation. Any surprises?
You know, I thought maybe marketings would be a little better. They were good, no problem. We all just sit here and keep waiting for this cattle on feed number to really drop below 100, and it just never does. But I look at my yard. I had a customer send me 6 loads the other day that are just little 5 and 6 weight cattle, and the only reason he did it is because, hey, it's getting dry where I am. He's from Alabama. It's getting dry, and I don't want to have to get rid of cows. I got to get these calves off my place so I got enough grass for my cows. And that continues to happen, and it will continue to happen until it rains.
Something else that happened to the market recently, I want to get your thoughts on box beef prices. They've been trending lower for about the past 3 weeks or so up until as we started this week. What's that tell you about the market?
You know, I think we got, they like to talk bubbles. I think we got too high. We really jammed that thing up into Memorial Day, which is your #1 beef holiday, and we got it too high, so it backed off. But you still see tremendous demand, like I said earlier, especially for the choice product. So that's really encouraging to me as a cattleman. We've improved our product. It's a great product, and people like it. So it's great.
Well, let's head to the nation's capital. Last time you and I talked, we talked about Senator Fisher and Grasser. They teamed up on a bill. It cleared the Senate Ag Committee. You're hearing it's going to clear the Senate, but it's got some hurdles still before that becomes law, right?
Yes, I was really disappointed. I was at a Nebraska cattlemen's meeting yesterday, which we discussed this. And I didn't realize this. So the Senate's passed. Well, the House hasn't even started on their own version of the bill. And not being a political animal, I really can't tell you what the chances are of them just saying, okay, we'll take the Senate bill. Okay, we'll approve that here. We'll put it on Biden's desk. I know Biden wants to sign it, or I'm fairly certain Biden wants to sign it. I don't know what the House is going to do. And that is such a The House is a nasty mess right now. So I'll be interested to see what they do, but I do know our friends to the south are paying lobbyists to try to kill the bill because Kansas and Texas want nothing to do with that because they're going to have to give up all their good buddy deals. So I'm hoping they waste a lot of money for nothing. I hope we can get that through because I think the sentiment is in the little guy's favor.
Something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, last time, going back to our conversation, put you on the spot, get your prediction. You thought we'd see $9 corn. Your thoughts on that prediction as we talk today?
We got close. We billed out $8.65 corn a couple weeks ago. Here's the deal, and I learned this a long time ago from a gentleman. Basis is your best indicator of demand. If I want to buy corn for August right now, it is 75 over. Typically, I buy corn that time of year for 10 under, 15 under, 75 over, and it's not done because these ethanol plants are short. Why, I don't know. Demand for ethanol is excellent, so they're going to keep buying corn because they got to keep grinding because they're making money, even with this price of corn, if that tells you anything. So there's going to be a lot of demand pressure. All you got to see, I mean, we have such a small margin. You just have a 2 to 3 to 5% reduction in the size of the crop, and corn's going past 9. So I think there's still opportunity there for it to do that. I think corn in the cash market, at least for us buyers, I'm not saying for the farmer, for us buyers, it's probably going to go past 9 because you're going to see that it doesn't have to rally very much over $8 and add 75 cents and you're there. I think that's going to keep going. Feed yards are pretty full. Cattle on feed said that. Got to have feed. So there's a ton of demand out there for corn. That's going to keep that basis up. And like I said, just a little bit of stub on the corn market, or the corn crop stubs its toe a little bit, and the corn market's going to take off. So that I have a lot of fear for that.
Always a lot of things to talk about when it comes to these cattle markets and all the outside pressure too. Mike, appreciate you coming back on to Market Journal.
Thanks, sir.